Little baby, don't you cry. You know your daddy's bound to die.
Memphis had been Elvis Presley's home since high school, and tonight that town is a city in shock.
The king is dead. Elvis Presley, the hip-gyrating king of rock and roll music, died at his Graceland mansion of heart failure. While he was being rushed to the hospital, efforts to revive him in the ambulance failed. His personal physician attempted to revive him without success.
I was upstairs in his bedroom, and I went upstairs to talk to him. He wasn't breathing.
I talked to him last night, and we discussed some songs we were going to do on the tour and everything.
There were no signs of ill health?
None whatsoever.
As word of Elvis's death spread around the world, a large crowd began gathering at the Presley home.
Well, we saw him last night. You know, we waited and waited for him to come out of the gate, and he went back in again, and he was smiling and waved and everything as if he was in real good health. Looked real good last night.
It was pandemonium as the people pressed against the gates trying to get in. Many fainted from the heat in the tightly packed crowd. Despite pleas from police to spread out, the crush became worse. And late this afternoon, 50 National Guardsmen were called out to assist in crowd control. The family extended the hours for public viewing, but Shelby County Sheriff Eugene Barksdale said that even so, many would not be able to see the body. Those who did get in walked up the long drive to the house itself and entered a small anteroom, which was almost filled with a copper casket containing the body of Elvis Presley. He was dressed in a white tuxedo, wearing a simple silver tie. Many of the people, as they came out, were crying. Tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock, private funeral services will be held at Graceland. Then the funeral procession will move up the street Memphis named after its most famous citizen to a mausoleum at Forest Hill Cemetery.
What's going on, everybody? How you doing today? So here I am in Memphis, Tennessee at Forest Hill Cemetery. And I'm here to do a bunch of videos about Elvis. It's been 2 years since I've been here in Memphis. And I love Elvis. And I thought I'd be back a lot sooner than this, but it took the pandemic and a few other things that happened. Then I was in Los Angeles a lot, and but finally back. And I'm a huge Elvis fan. I've always said my two favorite voices in the history of music, Elvis Presley and George Michael. In that order, probably. Grew up listening to Elvis. I want to give a big shout out to a gentleman who has a YouTube channel called Spa Guy, Billy. If you're not following Spa Guy, please check out his channel. He helped me out a lot so far remotely. He's not here. We're going to collaborate at some point. And but we've been talking. And a great guy. I'm an Elvis fan. This guy takes it to a different level in terms of knowledge. He knows everything about Elvis. He's so knowledgeable and so nice. And so Spa Guy, you've probably seen his channel. He's pretty popular. Does a lot of Elvis stuff. And so he helped me out with a few things. This video I had planned for a while, and I know he did one from here too. But, you know, sometime we have the same interests. People are going to do, you know, video about the same topic. But you can check out his afterwards. So here I am. This is where Elvis was first. When Elvis died on August 16th, 1977, he was he laid in state at Graceland for 25 hours, I think. Spa Guy, am I right? 25 hours? And then he was brought here. And this is where he was originally entombed. He was moved to Graceland a few months later because of grave robbers. Right over there, you can see it far. I saw it from the highway. That's a huge mausoleum. That's where Elvis originally was put. And that, well, we'll get into that in a minute. Because right here is where Elvis's mother was originally buried. Gladys. She died in 1958. And I found this really crazy picture of two women, young ladies. I'm not sure who they are. They're standing right here. So there's a huge angel monument that was right here. That was for Gladys, for Elvis's mom. It's gone now. It's at Graceland. They brought that too. But you can still see the cement where it stood. And it's right here. So there it is right there. And of course, well, sun peeping through. Let's get a different angle. No. Right about there. So there, the ladies are standing right here. Isn't that crazy? But this is the original cement that's here. So this is where that huge, huge monument to Gladys Presley was. Right here. I thought that was just fascinating that this is still here. And as you can see, people still bring flowers, which is very sweet. And I was wondering if I'd be able to find this. Look at this. There's a few little mausoleums like this peppered about, as you can see. I showed you some as we were coming in. So I wasn't sure if I'd be able to find this one, because it's the cemetery's closed right now. Like, there's nobody in the office or anything. I didn't even bother to check, but there's no car, so I know. And yeah, right there. And there's a shot of Elvis and Vernon, his dad, at the gravesite, and I believe it was taken from this angle, right about here, where they're kneeling over the grave. But that's, yeah, right there. Gladys Presley was originally buried right here. And then when Elvis passed, and then buried right over there, or entombed over there, I should say, he was brought to Graceland, and of course they brought his beloved mama with him. Now, I think even that mausoleum, I'm just guessing here, but because Elvis's death was a shock, he was 42 years old. They put him there, and they probably would have built a, if the grave robbing thing hadn't happened, they probably would have built a huge Presley mausoleum here. You know, maybe, or maybe, because it was just, even that I feel like it would have been temporary. Would have had a whole Presley. I mean, well, we're gonna get over there. There's gonna be room for. There would have been room for a few family members, but yeah, maybe not. We're gonna go over there now. But here's where Gladys was. The original burial site. So just to show you the drive, this is right in front, right to our right was where Gladys was, and we're gonna drive around. And I hope it's not too windy as I'm driving. And like I said, this mausoleum that we're going to, where Elvis was, it's huge. It's really noticeable from the highway. Like, I did not realize how big it is. It's not the biggest one I've seen. I mean, the one in Detroit at Woodlawn where Aretha is a bigger mausoleum. There's ones in Forest on Glendale, obviously, where Michael Jackson is. Those are bigger mausoleums, but this is the big one for this area for sure. And here we are. And I'm just hoping that the doors are open. We're gonna try to get in first, make sure the doors are open. And oh, is there a lock on that door? We may be coming back a different day. Well, kids, looks like it's locked up today, and I'm gonna have to come back. Let me go to the office. Maybe there's somebody there. Yeah, not getting in there right now, that's for sure. Okay, let's figure this out. Well, there's nobody here, so I'm gonna come back tomorrow. Today is technically somewhat of a holiday. It's very discouraging because there's signs all on the door that say by appointment only, to visit a loved one, sort of thing. I mean, the grounds are open, but if they want help locating a loved one, you got to make an appointment. I don't know why that mausoleum is locked like that. That was really tightly locked. But there's nobody here, so I mean, if somebody's gonna be working, I'm assuming tomorrow there'll be somebody working. So I'm gonna come back. All right, let's see what happens tomorrow. I'll try to wear the same shirt so it matches up, or maybe I'll forget. Oh boy, when in the South, right? You know, gotta. This is some footage of Elvis's funeral procession going into the cemetery. Now, So about the grave robbing plot, I thought there was very little information known about it, but it turns out there's a ton online, and it's a fascinating story, and it's a big story, so it's too much to tell on a short video like this. But essentially on August 29th, 9 days after Elvis was buried in Memphis here at Forest Hill, 3 men were arrested after attempting to steal his corpse from the mausoleum. They were all caught sneaking around. It's a really funny story, kind of, when you read the story. It reads like a slapstick comedy. They were sneaking around Presley's burial site, and the police were there because they had an informant involved, so they knew what was going on. And it was noted that the 3 seemed to lack the necessary tools to actually break into the mausoleum. And a cemetery employee told police that the trio apparently planned to use dynamite to blast in the mausoleum. They had a stolen appliance truck parked nearby. That's how they were going to get the 1,000-pound casket plus Elvis inside, how they were going to transport it and get it out, but they didn't know how they were going to get past the other fence. Yet they really weren't as prepared as you would think you would have to be for something like that. Police said they had confiscated some explosives, but the amount did not appear enough to do the job. And the charges against the 3 men were eventually dropped. And it's also been rumored, and this is rumored, that the Presley family was in on it with the sheriff because they weren't allowed zoning to have Elvis buried at Graceland, which is what they originally wanted. So they set up a fake plot to have look like his, that's the reason why they need to be buried at Graceland, because people would try to steal the body. Who knows? It's a fascinating story. I'll put a link below to one of the articles I read about it, and it's a really good read. And the reason why they were trying to steal Elvis's body was because they were going to be paid $10 million. Nobody ever found out who that $10 million was coming from, but that's what they said. 10 million. As you can see, it's very dark out. It's the next day. It's open, but the back door, and it's pitch black. We're going inside. Here we are. This is the opposite side. I'm gonna go find Elvis's crypt. This is crazy. It's about to get really dark. All right, let's go. So here we are inside. This is nuts. I believe Elvis was back here, right here. Please do not write on walls. Pay your respect to Elvis and sign the book. Graceland has rock fence that we can sign. So people do still write here. I'm gonna quickly write. I can't believe I'm in here right now. This is the next day. I was just doing a bunch of videos and I thought, well, I'll come by again because somebody gave me a tip that the back would be open. Elvis's crypt was right there. This is really weird to be doing this at night. And Gladys was moved from the lawn into here. Wow, I can't believe I'm in here at night. Oh my gosh. So, I believe the Presley family still owns this. But Elvis's crypt, that's the one right there. And there's a little window you can see on the outside. I'm gonna point that out. We're gonna go back around in a moment. Whew. Like, I drove through the streets of Memphis to get here because I thought the cemetery closed at 5, but it doesn't seem to be anybody here. And I'm alone in this giant mausoleum. It's freezing cold. This is wild. It's not the way I wanted to do the video. I want to be here in daylight. But, well, this is fascinating. So the Elvis was originally in this crypt here. You see where the hooks are to hang stuff. Yeah, let's go around the outside now. I'm gonna show you more when the funeral took place. But there it is. I'm sorry it's so dark. I can't believe it. Thanks to my friend Pat here in Memphis, who said that the back door might be open and you can go in. Sure enough. So I'm not sure which one was Gladys's, Elvis's mom, but Elvis's was that one right there. People still coming right on they should not do that. Wow. This is wild. I can't believe this. I mean, as you've seen if you've seen my videos before, I'm very respectful when I'm in any sort of cemetery, graveyard, and a mausoleum. But I can't believe that I'm here when it's almost gonna be nighttime and it's just, I'm walking around this mausoleum. My gosh. You come in those doors usually. I don't know, man. That cup, I believe, I think Spa Guy was in here not too long ago. I think that cup was still there. It's a pulpit. So just come right in that front entrance or the back entrance. And then you're gonna make a right from the front. And there's Elvis, where he was originally before he was moved to Graceland. Okay, so that was one of the weirder experiences I've ever had. People ask me all the time, what kind of experiences have I had that are strange? That would be up there, because I did not expect to get into the mausoleum while I was here in Memphis. I thought, I've never seen anybody working here. I've never gotten any sort of, they're supposed to call me back. It was heavily locked, but it's open on the back. Okay, now I'm gonna take you around front and show you some pictures lined up from the funeral. Wow. So it is dark. As you can see, I just literally just drove right around. There's the mausoleum. That window right there, that's where Elvis's former crypt was. Now, there's shots of the funeral with this in the foreground, right about here. And it was a huge funeral. They made the procession from Graceland, which is not too far from here, and flowers everywhere. Now, I had all the pictures ready to line up, and they're on my phone in the car, but there's some from here and going up straight through there into, and you can see, let's go up here quickly. There are no graves here. I'm not walking across any graves, which if you watch any cemetery videos or if you visit a cemetery, sometimes you have to walk across a grave to get to places. And just try to be respectful and walk between them if you can. Look at that, people leave stuff right there. I'm afraid they're gonna lock the gates. If there's somebody that comes by to, I don't know if that, if somebody comes by to lock up. I don't know if this is most cemeteries are small towns. They don't have a gate. This one has a huge gate, and this is a big city, so I'd assume they lock it. And you can see that lock is still on. Now, there are more photographs of the funeral and of the flowers taken from over this way. So we'll walk down here. Wow. So Gladys is right over there, and she, like I said, she was brought into the mausoleum after Elvis passed, and then they both moved to Graceland. There it is. So tons of flowers here, completely covered this lawn. And this is a grand looking mausoleum. It's foreboding somewhat at this time of night. As you can see, it gets dark fast. I'm guaranteeing in about 3 minutes it will be pitch black. But there it is. So they took the casket right through those doors. Sorry, I'm a little cold. It's a little grainy because of the light. But yeah. So here it is. How its original resting place. Right behind that window. So he would have been, I'll show you. Right here. Right there. Well, I gotta say, I did not expect this. Like I said, it's the next day. I did not wear the same shirt. Well, it's in the car. But thanks to my friend Pat. You're gonna be from the Karate Man Tiger Dojo and Museum. He was the one that gave me tips. He was just here recently. He went around back. I did not expect to be filming right now, so I was not as prepared as I usually am with the photos. I was gonna go back before I came back here, get the photos ready I look at them on my phone, and then I line up and try to match exactly. But I thought, well, I'll race over here and see if it's open, because I was so close, and sure enough. But yeah, this is it. Wow. The spa guy, Billy, watch his channel. He's done a ton of Elvis videos, more than anyone. Thank you so much, Billy, for all your help. Subscribe to the spa guy. Subscribe to my channel if you're not. Lots more Elvis stuff coming up. And I have a huge love for Elvis. He was the greatest. Thank you for watching. All right. What just happened? What just happened? Peace out. I'm just in my car now, about to leave, but I thought that was pretty cool.